Start that again. So what you say? We're making roux.
When you make your roux, to make a true Cajun roux, you start off with a black iron skillet, hot. You get your pan hot first. Then you put your oil in there, and when your oil goes to shimmering, then you slowly add your flour and whisk it. And you have to whisk the entire time it's cooking to brown the roux. You don't want to scorch it, because if you scorch it, it's ruined. You start all over again. And you can smell it if it's scorched. So
we're making roux.
I always start off with a clean, wet pan, let it evaporate the water out of it, put my oil in there, and then I add my flour until it gets the consistency I want. So that's a true Cajun roux. That's the way the Cajuns do it.
And he's got roux duties. He's got Rudy's. And I've got vegetable cutting up duties.
Yep.
We got our celery. We've got our bell peppers, red and green. Our sweet onions. Our parsley. Sage, rosemary, and thyme.
And if you watch a true Cajun do it, they usually use a metal spoon. I prefer this because it stirs it better.
Right.
I prefer
a whisk.
A whisk.
There we go.
It just does it better.
Well, that's what we're going to do. And we got us some Creole.
Number two thing while you're cooking gumbo, always have a beer.
That's right. There's something else other than beer over here. Let me show you. It's my favorite stuff. I had this ready for the game that got.
Oh, you got the JD, huh?
The Jack Daniels.
That's what I'm talking about. I might take a shot of that with you. All right, so start off on medium-high heat with this roux, and then after the pot gets hot, you turn it down to medium. You don't want it too hot.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it for right now, and we'll come back to next part 2.
All right, so we got the roux looking pretty good here now. We got to brown it just a little bit more and get it brown, but it's doing good. You can smell it. Smells good, not scorched. We're trying to get the salt right in it.
You need to put a lot in there.
I know, I've been dumping it, but I just don't want it to. I don't want to put too much salt, because you don't want it too salty. Of course, that's going to evaporate. I mean, that's going to mix in with your gumbo with all the other stuff too, but you don't want too much salt in there. Some people put salt in their roux and some people don't. I prefer to put salt in my roux.
I don't know. Somehow I deleted that last video we were doing.
Must have hit the wrong button on your phone or something. I do that all the time. I delete stuff by accident. And I deleted a picture that I did not want to delete not too long ago, and boy, it made me mad. Because there ain't no way to get it back, and I didn't have it saved on my Google Drive. I've got it to where now, once I take pictures, they go immediately to my Google Drive.
But we're still making on the roux. Let me put my finger in there and taste that.
Yeah, taste it, see if we got enough salt yet. That's hot now.
It's hot grease.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hot grease.
I'd put a little more in there. Taste it. I still just taste greasy flour.
Well, I mean, that's what it is.
I understand.
And I think we need a little bit more flour. I don't think it's quite thick enough. Not a whole lot, but we need just a little bit more.
I see Nathaniel Craig's watching us.
Think of what?
I see Nathaniel Craig is watching.
Nathaniel Craig, one of your buddies.
Yeah.
Now it's getting thicker. Now it's getting thicker.
There we go. You're going to have to add more salt now that you put more flour in.
Yeah, I'm going to have to add more salt.
But I got to get back on the cooking duties. And we're trying to get this to a golden brown consistency. Or look. Got our crawfish tails.
Golden brown. Crawfish tails. We got crab leg. We got to get the meat out of there.
There's a crab leg.
We got shrimp. 3 pounds of shrimp.
And I got bell pepper, celery, and some more meat and parsley to cut on.
I'm gonna be careful because
Let me taste that.
it didn't stir on this side good. I think you got to go all the way around this pan. Make sure you get all the way around that pan.
There might be a hint. I don't know if that was the salt off of my finger.
Yeah.
Or.
Well, it's getting there because I done put a quarter of this thing salt in there now. It's getting there. We're getting close. And it's turning a nice brown color. That's what I like. I like to see it starting to turn brown. This is probably the most trying part of the gumbo because you cannot leave this. You got to stand and watch this the whole time. If you leave this for 5 minutes, you done ruined your roux. And don't buy that prepackaged roux mix. Oh my Lord, have you ever tried that prepackaged roux?
No.
That stuff ain't worth a flip. It is not worth a flip. I tried it one time in a stew. It ain't the same as making your own roux. It's just not the same.
So we got our cast iron skillet, well seasoned.
Some people, I've seen people that on cooking shows, they'll use olive oil for roux. I don't like the flavor of the olive oil in my gumbo because you can taste that.
But you can mix you a little olive oil with your regular
with peanut oil. And then I've also heard of people using bacon grease. I want to try bacon grease, but not this go round because I'm sticking with what I know is tried and true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to learn. By the way, this is going to be about $100 pot of gumbo when we get through. I don't want to learn $100 worth of seafood.
Yeah, there's pot number 1 and pot number 2 right there. I put some water in here, turned it on boil to sanitize that thing. Disinfect.
And then when you take this off the heat, you still have to stir this until it cools. Because if you don't, that cast iron pot,
It's still going to keep cooking.
it's still going to keep cooking it, and it will scorch your roux. So you have to stir this for a good 10 minutes.
Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen?
After you take it off the heat, you have to keep stirring this for a good 10 minutes to let that pot cool down.
This is a workout.
Oh yeah, if you're not strong, you'll be strong when you get through with this. Cutting all these vegetables, peeling all these shrimp, and pulling all the meat out of them crab legs. This is a workout.
So actually we're talking about a $400 batch of gumbo for the labor put in.
Yeah, really. If you went and tried to buy this gumbo, the pot that we finna make, you probably would spend $400 for somebody else to make it. It probably would cost you $400 for somebody else to make this gumbo.
That's how good it is.
That's how good it is.
Oh, my cousin Cindy Bradshaw Porch is watching.
Yeah, that's good.
She was from down in New Orleans. She grew up in New
Oh,
Orleans.
she knows exactly what we're doing then.
Yeah.
She grew up in New Orleans. She knows what we're doing.
Right. Ain't that right, Cindy?
Well, I tell you what, I was born in Clarksdale, Mississippi. If I had been born 15 miles to the west, I'd be coon-ass.
No, you'd be Arkansas and Clarksdale.
No, it ain't. Right across the border at Clarksdale, to the south a little bit, to the southwest is Louisiana.
Right. Well, directly west is Arkansas.
Yeah, well, you're right. But if I'd have been born 15 miles to the west and down a little bit, I'd have been coon-ass.
Well, that's still the hills, though.
Uh-uh.
Well, not the hills. I mean, that's the northern section of Louisiana. True Cajun, that's where Cindy was from.
Yeah, well, that's from way down south in the bayous.
Right.
Yeah, well, we had the bayous in Clarksdale. We had, a lot of people don't know it, but the longest bayou in the world.
We have a question here.
The longest bayou in the world is in Mississippi.
Cindy said, "I sure am. I do," and she's asking, "What kind of gumbo?" Well, did I not go over here's the shrimp gumbo. You may not have been online at the time. And we
shrimp.
got
We got sausage.
and we got crab
crawfish
legs,
tails,
crawfish tails,
crawfish tail meat, and crab.
and then we're gonna do another batch of chicken.
And then we're gonna do a batch of chicken and sausage gumbo.
So
I got a family member that don't eat seafood. Bless her heart.
you talking about my wife?
Well, that too. Your family member too.
That's right.
My sister-in-law don't eat seafood.
She won't eat seafood.
None.
She won't eat gumbo.
She won't eat.
So
She'll eat
you
chicken
can't even
gumbo.
you can't even do chicken and gumbo.
Huh?
She ain't eating no chicken gumbo.
Yes, she will.
No,
She'll
she-
eat chicken gumbo.
No, she won't.
Why?
She won't eat anything with onions in it.
Oh, you talking about your wife?
Yeah.
Your wife.
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, my sister-in-law will now. She'll eat the chicken gumbo, but she won't eat no seafood gumbo. I don't know what's wrong with that girl. She don't eat shrimp. She don't eat fish at all. No frog legs. No crawfish. Any kind, no seafood whatsoever. I couldn't survive. I wouldn't want to survive. I got to have me some seafood.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get on to cutting up these vegetables, and I'll take the stickers off of them this time.
Yeah, take the stickers out the bell pepper.
We'll broadcast later. Y'all have a good night.